Northern Myanmar, a region of stunning landscapes, diverse cultures, and resilient people. Yet, this picturesque part of the world is also prone to devastating floods that disrupt lives, destroy livelihoods, and challenge the resilience of its inhabitants. Today, we explore the causes, impacts, and responses to the recurring floods that affect northern Myanmar, and how the people of this region are striving to adapt and rebuild in the face of nature's fury. Northern Myanmar's geography is a major factor contributing to its vulnerability to flooding. The region is characterized by a complex network of rivers, including the mighty Irrawaddy, Chindwin, and their numerous tributaries. These rivers are vital to the region's agriculture and transportation, but they also pose significant risks. The climate in northern Myanmar is dominated by the monsoon season, which typically lasts from June to October. During this period, the region experiences heavy rainfall, with some areas receiving more than 200 inches of rain annually. This intense precipitation can lead to rivers overflowing their banks, causing widespread flooding. Flooding in northern Myanmar is not a new phenomenon. Historical records and local oral traditions recount numerous instances of devastating floods over the centuries. These floods have shaped the region's landscape and influenced the lives of its people. One of the most catastrophic floods in recent history occurred in 2015. Torrential rains caused rivers to swell and burst their banks, leading to widespread devastation. Villages were submerged, crops destroyed, and thousands of people were displaced. The 2015 floods served as a stark reminder of the region's vulnerability to natural disasters. The primary causes of flooding in northern Myanmar can be attributed to a combination of natural and human factors. The monsoon rains, which are a natural climatic phenomenon, are the most significant contributor. However, deforestation, poor land management, and climate change are exacerbating the severity and frequency of these floods. Deforestation in the region has reduced the capacity of forests to absorb rainfall, leading to increased runoff into rivers and streams. This has been compounded by agricultural practices that do not adequately protect the soil from erosion. As a result, more sediment is washed into rivers, raising their beds and reducing their capacity to contain floodwaters. Climate change is also playing a significant role. Rising global temperatures are leading to more intense and unpredictable weather patterns. In northern Myanmar, this means more frequent and severe storms, which bring with them heavier rainfall and increased flood risk. The impacts of flooding in northern Myanmar are profound and multifaceted. When floods strike, they affect every aspect of life in the region, from agriculture and infrastructure to health and livelihoods. Agriculture, which is the backbone of northern Myanmar's economy, is particularly hard hit. Floodwaters inundate fields, destroying crops and washing away fertile topsoil. Farmers who rely on their harvests for both food and income are often left destitute. The loss of livestock, another critical source of livelihood, further compounds their suffering. Infrastructure damage is another significant impact of flooding. Roads, bridges, and buildings are often destroyed or severely damaged, disrupting transportation and communication networks. This makes it difficult for aid to reach affected areas and for people to access essential services. Health risks increase dramatically during and after floods. Contaminated water sources lead to outbreaks of waterborne diseases such as cholera and dysentery. The displacement of communities and overcrowding in temporary shelters exacerbate the spread of infectious diseases. Malnutrition also becomes a serious concern as food supplies dwindle. The psychological impact of flooding cannot be overlooked. The trauma of losing homes, livelihoods, and loved ones leaves deep scars. Communities that face repeated flooding often experience a sense of hopelessness and despair, which can hinder recovery efforts. In response to the recurrent floods, both the government and local communities in northern Myanmar have taken steps to mitigate the impacts and improve resilience. These efforts range from emergency response and relief operations to long-term strategies aimed at reducing vulnerability. The Myanmar government, with support from international organizations, has implemented various measures to improve flood preparedness and response. Early warning systems have been established to alert communities to impending floods, allowing them to evacuate to safer areas. Emergency relief supplies, including food, water, and medical aid, are pre-positioned in flood-prone regions to ensure swift distribution when needed. Infrastructure improvements are also a key focus. The government has invested in the construction and maintenance of flood-resistant roads, bridges, and buildings. Efforts to improve drainage systems and reinforce riverbanks are ongoing, aimed at reducing the likelihood and severity of future floods. Community-based initiatives play a crucial role in building resilience. Local groups and non-governmental organisations, NGOs, work closely with residents to develop and implement strategies that reduce flood risk. These include reforestation projects, sustainable agricultural practices, and the construction of raised homes and community centres. Education and awareness programs are essential components of these efforts. By teaching communities about the risks of flooding and how to respond effectively, these programs empower individuals to take proactive measures to protect themselves and their families. Technology is playing an increasingly important role in flood management and mitigation in Northern Myanmar. Advances in remote sensing, geographic information systems, GIS, and hydrological modelling are providing valuable data and insights that help predict and respond to floods more effectively. Remote sensing technology, including satellite imagery and drones, allows for real-time monitoring of weather patterns, river levels, and land use changes. This information is crucial for early warning systems and for assessing the impact of floods on the ground. GIS technology enables the mapping and analysis of flood-prone areas, helping planners and decision-makers identify vulnerable communities and prioritize interventions. Hydrological models simulate the behavior of rivers and watersheds, providing predictions of flood extent and severity under different scenarios. These technological tools, combined with local knowledge and expertise, are enhancing the ability of authorities and communities to prepare for, respond to, and recover from floods. They are also informing long-term planning and development efforts aimed at reducing flood risk. While progress has been made, significant challenges remain in addressing the root causes and impacts of flooding in northern Myanmar. Climate change continues to pose a major threat, with increasing rainfall variability and extreme weather events expected in the coming decades. Addressing deforestation and land degradation is crucial to reducing flood risk. This requires coordinated efforts to promote sustainable land management practices and enforce environmental protection regulations. It also involves supporting communities in transitioning to more sustainable livelihoods that do not rely on environmentally damaging practices. Ensuring that early warning systems are accessible and effective for all communities, especially those in remote areas, is another ongoing challenge. Investment in communication infrastructure and community education is essential to ensure that warnings reach everyone in time to take protective action. Building resilience to flooding also requires addressing the social and economic vulnerabilities that make communities more susceptible to disaster impacts. This includes improving access to healthcare, education, and economic opportunities, as well as strengthening social safety nets. The future of flood management in northern Myanmar will depend on continued collaboration between the government, local communities, and international partners. By working together and leveraging the latest technology and knowledge, it is possible to build a more resilient and sustainable future for the region. Floods in northern Myanmar are a powerful reminder of the delicate balance between humanity and nature. While the challenges are immense, the resilience and determination of the people of this region offer hope. Through a combination of traditional knowledge, modern technology, and collaborative efforts, northern Myanmar is forging a path toward a more secure and sustainable future. As we continue to adapt and innovate, we must remember that the strength of a community lies not only in its ability to withstand the forces of nature, but also in its capacity to. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more.